I say, how are you doing today? How are you doing today? I am your host, Lacey G. Souldier Turner. And today with me, I have a great special guest. You know, he's Los Angeles-based television and film composer of over 100 shows, seven-time BMI Award winner, including four for the Kings of Queen. He's worked on Sister Sister, Moesha, Being Mary Jane, and many, many, many more, man. We got the great, amazing, wonderful, talented Kirk Farquhar, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. I was nominated. I was a nominated artist at the Hollywood Music and Media Awards, and your speech just really touched me because it's like you came from where I'm at. Like I write and direct movies also, and I came from a place where people, don't expect you to succeed. And on my journey, it's been a great journey. I've been some of my films that won, film festival awards, and just I'm also a hip hop artist, so to be nominated for award last year and hearing your speech, it really touched me. So I'm gonna talk about that too, also. But first, I want to get it to you. Where were you born and raised, and can you give me some information on your background?
Yeah, I was born on the south side of Chicago, in a place called Altgeld Gardens, and uh, I we moved out of the gardens when I was like around 4 years old, I believe, and uh, uh, at a very young age, I got into music. My mom always wanted us involved in music in somehow or another, and I ended up playing at a very young age, and starting to write at a young age. I always heard melodies and music in my head, and that was always a thing for me. And I wrote my first symphony when I was 12 years old. Went to the National Conservatory of Music in Versailles, France, and I came back to study with Johnny Lane at Eastern Illinois University, and then I came out here to Los Angeles to try and see what I can do with all I've learned.
Yeah, and I saw that you said you was almost homeless. How did that happen, and how did you get
No,
into film?
yeah, no, it wasn't almost homeless. I was actually sleeping on the streets. Stuff happens. When you're I got out here, I showed up in this town with $134 in my
Man,
pocket and
man.
virtually, and I knew no one in this business. My brother was working for a pharmaceutical company at the time, and then had switched to uh, becoming an actor. So being an actor, black actor back in those days, he was worse off than me.
He's
I'm
worse
pretty
off
sure
than
he
me.
wanted to borrow. I'm pretty sure he wanted to borrow the $134.
Hey, Kurt, let me get that from you up in the pay.
Now that you're here, no, and it's difficult. We have a lot of fantasies of what we think this business is going to be like. Uh, I had a actual thought. I told everybody that I was going to have a job, major job, within 2 months of being out here. And the bad news is that I did. I started getting work, and I I'd flown to New York to work on a Broadway musical. I was asked to play with Freddie Hubbard, which I did, and I went on tour with him. And and in my mind, I thought the reason that I'm getting all this was because I'm talented. I'm just really, really good. And since I don't intend on being any less good, I'll just always have this.
Like I've always just had it.
and, and I'll just always have this because I don't intend on being any less good. And real life came knocking
It
and
always
said,
does.
said not so fast, dude. And you know, it's you you think you know so much about it and what it really is and what it takes to succeed out here and to get through and to to build an actual career that sustains over the years. I mean, I'm looking back now on 34-year career. And that doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen by osmosis. It happens from you putting in the work every day.
Right.
And work, yes, it's the music, it's the creative part of it, but also, I mean, this whole business is run by humans,
Mm-hmm.
and we come out here ill-equipped. I know I did to deal with the humanity of it. You come out trained like crazy to be in music, to be an artist. I don't think I was very well trained as a human. I don't think that I knew the things that it would take to really, really achieve and sustain. I remember meeting a music director one time. It was I just gotten out in town, and he was telling me that my friend and I, an old drummer by the name of Bubba Bryant, he told us, he said, I'd rather have a musician that showed up on time and answered his freaking phone when I called. Period. Said
Yeah.
the stuff stowed up, prepared, boom, boom, boom.
Right. Yeah.
All of the basic stuff. And I said, I'd rather have. He said, I would rather have that than the better musician. And I said, but you haven't heard me. And that's all I took from that at the time.
Look at me.
That's all I took from that at the time, which we'll see, which is what leads me directly to, okay, we're gonna have to put this fool right on the curb, yeah. so that we get there. And now being a person that actually hires people, I get it. I found out, I had to take me out of the equation. And what that means is when we're adding up, you say this didn't work out for me, that didn't work out for me. At the end of the year, you say, well, when you're adding up what didn't work out and why, that I don't come into the equation. And meaning that I've done all of the things that I know to do. I can't do what I don't know, but hey, I get a job, I'm gonna be on time or early. I'm gonna be completely 110% prepared. I'm gonna be the slap happiest, most enjoyable person you've ever met to work with in your life. I said, because personally myself, I work inside a dark windowless room for 16 hours a day with an old Dutchman, and so whoever else is coming in that room matters. It just does. I wish I could tell you that's the human stuff that we don't get to deal with. We think I'm so cool, I'm just so good, you're going to want to be around me. Sometimes people just want to be around somebody that they enjoy being around, that isn't a siphon off of their energy, that allows them to go and do the special work that they do. I get that. I get that now. I get that my job is not just to do the music. My job is is the person that I am to the people that I am lucky enough to be connected with. I have, if you think about it, these especially in television, these producers that get a network TV show, CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox, all of that. Now it's not a maybe, it's a realistic possibility.
Yeah.
That they could get a show that goes to syndication. They just got to get 5 seasons of it. And then after that 5 seasons, that goes into syndication. The level of financial gain that they get is nothing that I ever thought about in my life. It didn't even occur to me anybody could make that much money. And all these, there's 250 people on this set, that all have their jobs because of this person. Let me tell you something, there's an enormous amount of pressure on them.
Yeah.
I personally think that part of my job is, I should know how to do this music. I should be able to come strong with that. But also, I try to come strong with making their day just that much easier. That with all of the grief that they have to go through, all of the difficulties, and there's a lot. There's a lot. With all the difficulties that they come through, I feel like, if dealing with me is not one of them. And I can control that, I try to not be one of the issues that they have that day, so that we can just talk about the music, we can get into a creative discussion, and we can things can be cool. But that me personally, I'm not part of the problem. And so that that works for me. I mean, I always tell people, they ask me, how did you get so many hit shows? I said, well, I just say yes, but that's not I said, and I only work for one person. I work for Steven Spielberg. And what I mean by that is when my producer walks in the door, my director, my showrunner, whatever, walks in the door, I see Steven Spielberg, and I act accordingly.
Yes, give it your
I act accordingly. And I'm just going to ride this, treating them like Steven Spielberg on out and see where it takes me. I think that, I personally think that virtually every one of the people that I've had the opportunity to work with deserved to be treated in that way. Steven Spielberg, when he started out,
yes.
it wasn't obvious that somebody a story about a truck following somebody, and you can't even see the driver, and it's going to be a big hit movie. A shark in the water is going to end up being one of the all-time biggest movies.
Exactly.
With one of the most all-time most memorable score that was based on two notes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't know that up front.
Not at all.
You can't know that. I don't know. Of all of the hit shows I've had, I did not know that either one of them was going to be the one. I do the job. I get very serious about doing the job. I take care of the people that I'm working with, and in a profound way, and try to be decent to them along the way. And let's all have some fun, and there it is.
See, Kurt, you remind me of me so much, man. I just think it's like your soul is my soul. But something, that is so profound to me, and I didn't realize this until I went to film school. It's the emotion we get in films, from storytelling through the music. Yeah. So can you explain the importance of music in film?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, as gentleman that used to run the film music department at Warner Brothers once told me, it says, Kurt, the job of the composer is to tell people what to feel. I mean, and essentially, he's right. A camera going down a dark hallway isn't scary. It only becomes scary once I start going. Now Pookie's about to get off. I mean, it's sometimes you don't know that it's love until we say it's love. Watching a movie to have the opportunity, and I suggest it for anybody that really wants to get the understanding of how much it brings. Watch any movie, your favorite movie, without any music in it. Try and get it without a version of it without any music of it, and notice how dramatically it changes. and you can take it this way, you can take it that way musically. You can make it softer, you can make it harder, you can make it, you can make it mean so much to you. You can you can make it more opaque. These are choices that are made. These are choices that are made with the producer, and how you do it comes to the speaks to the individual differences of each artist. That's why uh that's why I say it's such a beautiful thing when I see people taking an opportunity, filmmakers taking an opportunity to look beyond whether the color barrier or racial and whether it's a woman or a man or something. Each person is bringing something different to telling you, to expressing love to you, to express fear to you. My experiences are different, so I pack my bag of experiences and bring them with me to every job. How I experience love or joy and contentment or fear or discontent and all of that. How I express it is going to just be different than someone else, and I think that sometimes it's a wise choice to give a different voice that opportunity to be heard.
And I see, you've done so many different type of styles. What is your favorite style that you like to implement into films and
one that I've never gotten a chance to do. Those that are really close to me know that my favorite music is actually country and western. So
you ain't never get to put. I
haven't gotten to do a score that expresses that.
I need to make a country and western movie for you though.
Yeah, I like putting myself in different circumstances, in a different light and see what comes up. I mean, you can see the poster behind me, King of Queens. I was doing King of Queens the same time I was doing Moesha and the Parkers, and they could not be more different. Right. They couldn't be, a wider swing as to what we're doing. But that's what keeps it alive for me. That I do get to do something different, that I do get to do something that's not, the norm, what everybody would necessarily think I should be doing.
Okay. I saw somewhere, could you break this down for me? You was talking about somewhere, you were saying dancing with dialogue. Could you elaborate?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I find great actors and directors and editors have a rhythm to what they're doing. They have a vibe. How the actor is like, and they may just pause for a second. It's almost like a Miles Davis solo or something. Little blips, blaps. But it's all very rhythmic. And I try to instead of superimpose my music under what they're doing, I have my music go in with them, and we're moving together. We're moving together, and we're in sync, and we're dancing. And so when if I'm doing it right, you don't actually even notice that I'm there because it's so in sync with where they are. I'm pausing when they pause. I continue on. I give a breath. I have moments where I let it shift and get smaller, so that it brings you in to listen to them even more. I'm not dragging the dialogue along. I'm not dragging the actor along to where I want them to be. I'm looking at the road that they have, this path that they've carved, and I'm going along with them. You know what I mean? I'm not fighting at any point in it. And that's what I mean by dancing with dialogue, that it's a groove with them, not something battling against them.
I like that, Kurt. Okay, so do you have a specific process? Like if somebody bring you a film, like do you have a specific process to build the music?
Yeah, it starts with just an enormous amount of questions. I think that a lot of filmmakers and television producers are shocked at sheer barrage of questions
They were like,
that I'm
oh, wait a
asking
minute,
them.
hold up.
Yeah, yeah, that I'm asking them. I want to know where they came from. What? First of all, I want to read this script, even if the TV show or the movie is already shot. I still want to read the script because I want to go on the journey that they went on. I want to be as close to it with them as I possibly can. So if I try to get the script, read that, get involved in that, start letting that get my imagination going, and then I see the picture with them and where they're telling me what their thoughts are on it. But I ask a lot of things about if the writer is the like in as is the case in most of television, if the writer is the showrunner. I mean, that's some things like, what were you listening to when you wrote this? Most writers are very, very. They have their thing. They have their special drink that they want. They have this that they want. They have what they're typing on. Yeah. They have their music playing. What were you listening to when you wrote this?
Yeah.
What would you? What if you had more money? Not more money than God, more money than Steven Spielberg, and you could afford to put any piece of music you wanted in here. Beyonce's thing, yeah, drop that in there. Whatever. What would you take? Hmm? What would you have at this moment? I talked to them a lot about their emotions and feelings of the character inside the character's head. I need to know more deeply. Well, not only that they're feeling this, why are they feeling this? What happened? What's going on that takes them to this place? Are we getting a little too big too early? If I have more information, I get to, the more information I get like that, the more I'm able to get inside the character's head, which helps with developing the actors, what the actor is creating there.
And one thing I found out, I didn't even know this is one of my favorite shows that you did the music for South Central. I was like,
oh wow,
back in the days, that was my show. I hate that it went more seasons. I hate that it was only there one season.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
But what was your process of coming up with that music? I used to love that music as a kid, and then
that was a wild one. That was a wild one. The producers really wanted something very different, and they wanted this real edge, and we were doing a lot of. I talk about that show a lot with young people that ask me about my career. I said, well, every now and then you have this opportunity where they really meant what they said about we want it to be different. We want it to be edgy. I said, well, how far you want to go? I'll get you kicked off TV. So let me know. Let me know what. Give me some guardrails, something here. Yeah. And they really wanted you to go as far as you want. So I remember jazz and hip hop had been very combining a lot back in that time. So we had a lot of that going on, and a lot of live instrumentation in that show, along with the programming. And it was just a special moment that, and what they were writing and how interesting that show. I think I was most disappointed about that show going away than almost any other show. I thought, right. So that was a really, really, really special one that I would love to have seen go, yeah. 5-6 seasons and see where these characters go, because that was really, really, really something. People keep on calling for shows to come back. Call for that to come back. I mean, yes. I would love to see a reboot of South Central.
I watched it again like 2 years ago. I'm like, man, this show was powerful.
I know. I was looking at it not too long ago myself. Just with these things, people were giving me like career achievement awards and things. So I started looking at things that I had done years ago, and I thought that was a really good show. What we got a chance to do was really, really special for that time, and I would just be glad to be a part of it.
Okay, so how was it meeting Beyonce? How was it working with her?
I don't know. Let's ask Beyonce what it was like meeting me. No, you know something. One of the things I've always taken away from I worked with her on the theme song for the original Proud Family, and with Destiny's Child and her sister Solange. Uh, but you asked me about Beyonce, and I want to speak directly to that. Everything that you think about her creatively and as an artist, how strong she is. Everything that you think about that, she's actually that and more. She's actually beyond whatever fantasy you have held in your head about how special she is or whatever. She really, really is a remarkable, remarkable artist. What it was knowable and seeable at that time, and that was over 20 years ago. Um, early in her career, and you could really see how brilliant of an artist she was. You know, unfortunately, her series didn't get canceled early, too soon. And so we all get to live out and see what she really became, and look at it. It's just magic all the time, 100%, all of the time. And I love that about her. She is as brilliant as you ever thought. I mean, sometimes you find out about an artist and it's not quite what you thought. You know, it's not everything that you thought. I will just say this for me, she's not only everything I thought she was, everything I thought and more. So far beyond it that I mean, very privileged to have had a chance to even spend 10 minutes in a room with her. So, yeah, that's
Uh,
something to do again.
But how did you feel about, getting the HMMA 2022 Outstanding Career Achievement Award?
I was, I felt like, why are they giving this to me? I'm still trying
Nah,
to get a career. I'm still trying to make one.
you deserve
Uh,
it.
you know, it's, when you putting your head down and you're doing the work, you, uh, you don't really notice that all of this has occurred. And I'm thankful for to the HMMAs for uh, choosing me for that award. Uh, like I said, I'm just out here trying to keep on working and keep on doing something special and keep trying to be relevant to do something that people care about right now today. That's what's important. What am I doing today, and what can I add to the conversation today? And when I can add no more, I'll go off to the little old composer's home, and
You know what, Kurt? Like I said, I was there, and two things that really touched me, and I had tears in my eyes also.
oh,
Is when you talked about, you saying how your brother Ralph, he's like, I don't know if we have anything and we don't, but whatever we got, I think if we put it into Kurt, you know what I'm saying, that we'll get somewhere. And they're
mm,
like super touched my heart, you know what I'm saying? And the other thing when you were saying if more people in Hollywood would just look in a different way to somebody, who that might not be the obvious choice and
yeah,
like broad and beautiful artwork. He was like, I beg you to let them in. And those two things really touched me. You just never know what somebody words can do. And like I said, I've been coming up in that way. So that really touched me. I just want you to know that stuck with me ever since then. And
oh,
God is still opening doors for me. And I appreciate you for that.
well, thank you for saying that. Thank you for bringing it up. Uh, those were really, really true statements. My brother did it. I mean, he'd he'd be giving his rent money for me to hit the studio one more time. I mean, it's like crazy. Back in the time when it wasn't so obvious and wasn't so easy. And I've had some folks that did look in a different way. You know, Michael Whitehorn, who chose me for King of Queens, says, you know, I'm not the obvious choice to have done that show, but he did give me that opportunity. And the more that we look out in front of us, you know, and see where some young man, some young woman from a different from a different walk and a different upbringing than you had, put together with your beautiful art and with your beautiful vision, put together with that, they expanded. They expanded. It doesn't fall apart. You know, King Queens didn't fall apart because they had a black composer. You know, it it grew because of it. You know, it had a different vibe and a different energy. You know, uh, uh, I had a enormous amount of excitement getting the chance to do that show. The uh, letting a composer do an orchestral leaning score uh, where you don't necessarily think that that's the look of a composer that does orchestral score. I mean, I always tell people, it says, you know, you all took the risk when you all gave me the hip hop shit to do. I'm just saying, you know, the one thing that I did know how to do was orchestral, and and sometimes you're not getting that up now. Now I walk in both worlds. I'm responsible for ushering in the urban scoring era in television. Uh, and I think possibly because I didn't come directly from it, I had to learn about it, and be, I had to make it a part of me, you know. But I brought in all these other elements as well, so you combine them, and then you had something completely new. Uh, you never know where that new strike of energy and burst of creativity is going to come from. And all I'm saying is don't cut off your paths, you know. Don't, because it's only this person. And I get it. I get it. I understand why so many people go to the same composers all the time. By the time what I think that the average person doesn't understand it, by the time they hire a composer, it's the end of the film. It's almost the end of the whole process. And many times you know that you have a strong one, and now you're not. And am I going to risk it on Pookie? Am I going to? Do I need this fight now? You know,
Yeah.
that's what I used to come up against the earlier years. You know, as a young African American composer, if a lot of the black producers would be concerned with, do they need another fight right now? And some of them said, yeah, I don't give a cahoot. I'm going to fight for him because I want him, you know, and I want this. And uh, 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 some of the white producers, it was more just another day at the office, you know. Yeah, I want him, so yeah, and I'll fight for him and whatever. It's the people just don't understand though that it is it does come at a period of their process of getting their work that they process. Some of these people have been working for years on one single project. Years. I still know people that have had a decade trying to develop one thing. I think it can be a few years. It can be, you know,
Yeah.
you'd be crying if if it was the last 8 months of your life, let alone the last 8 years, you know.
Yeah.
So I get that. I get that. And then at the end I have to make a decision on a composer, and and now I'm supposed to take a risk, you know.
Yeah, I get
I
that.
personally think that your whole process has been a risk. So why not?
Facts. Definitely.
Why not try somebody else? Try something else. And I include myself in that. I'm starting a thing called composers you should hire instead of me. And 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 let's give these people a list of some talented people, you know, that you can say, so that when it comes to the last minute, you know where to go. And we're going to try to get that off the ground and make it work this year. But you know, it's important that others get an opportunity, that other people are going to get to be seen, and you as filmmakers get to see what cracking that door open a little bit does for you. I mean, it should be a selfish thing as far as I'm concerned. If you want to change this, hire some Black people.
Okay. I got three more questions.
Okay.
What has been your greatest challenge, and what has been your greatest accomplishment in the industry?
Uh, I always used to think the getting into this business was the biggest challenge, and after surviving for and thriving for 34 years, I find that the reality is getting in was easy, staying in was hard. Maintaining a career over a long period of time. Uh, it takes talent, it takes reinvention, it takes fearlessness all the way through. When you're thinking, well, why would they want me anymore? And you get all of the doubts and things in your head again. And the choice again, the choice to reinvent yourself, to take yourself and say, I am going to be something else today, and now I'm going to be something new, but with all of my experience. I do it all of the time. You can't say that the same composer that did Soul Food is the same composer that did Black Lightning. They have nothing to do with each other.
Exactly.
But you can't say that the same composer that did Black Lightning is the same person that did Girlfriends. But it is, and from the same producers. They're very different things. I did a show called Stitchers on I guess it was originally ABC Family, and and it was a show about a government program that they figured that they could hack into the minds of the recently dead people. And it was, not to put too fine a point on it, was primarily a white cast, uh, uh, a brother or a sister or two there, but not predominant main cast members.
Yeah.
And the score that I did for that was so dramatically different than anything that I'd ever done before. And the producers were saying we looked at over 100 composers, which they didn't even know was that many of you all. and you got this because yours was the most unique. And I said, well, they want to know, how did you do that? And I said, well, if you really want something different, either get somebody so young and stupid that they don't know any better, somebody long enough in the South that they just don't give a cahootie. And I'm one and not the other. It's just, I'm trying to keep reinventing myself, to keep trying to keep shifting, to keep changing, so that you never know what is the next me, when I come up, and I found that's a challenging thing, that we that I hadn't expected. How hard. I always had a fantasy of what succeeding in this would be, and then I would just break out, I would do well, and then I would just be sitting back and say, oh, I'll do that one. I think I'll do that one. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take off this year, and then I'll come back and I'll just do that one there. And it'll all be special, and they'll all be great. And it just doesn't work that way. It's amazing what a constant battle it is. And if you're not ready to constantly work on yourself, constantly prove yourself, and without asking, why do I have to prove myself? If you're not ready to do that, then you're probably not ready to do this, because it won't turn out very well for you. Not in the long run.
And what about the greatest accomplishment?
greatest accomplishment is my family, my beautiful wife Shell, and my wonderful sons True and Cayman. So
Okay.
that's that.
So what advice, you already just broke it down a little bit. What advice would you give to someone who's trying to break into the industry, being a composer, actor, whatever, film writer, director?
Yeah. Believe. You have to be your own biggest cheerleader, starting day one and going all the way through. You have to believe in you more than anybody. Don't get angry about that. So and so doesn't feel like that they're giving you what you think that they need to give you, that they're believing in you the way you think that you want them to believe in you, that they're going to give you the opportunity that you think that you deserve. What about you? It starts with you, how much you can give, how much you believe. When you're not even believing in yourself and you're begging others to believe in you, how crazy is that? I say, take a step back, take a deep breath. Just when it feels like it is at the lowest ebb, when it is the worst, you have to be the first person to dig down deep and decide where you're going to go, what you're going to put into it, how hard you're going to grind, how hard you're going to go after it day after day after day after day. There's no time to give up. You're too busy to give up. You can't get the giving up on your agenda. You and you alone have to get in there, work, bring things to yourself. You, by your joy, by your heart, by your soul, by your energy, will draw that energy in kind towards you. And then you have to grab onto it with all your might and hang on for a hell of a ride.
Yeah, that's so powerful. Make sure people hear this. That's very powerful, man. You're right. You have to believe in you first. If nobody else don't believe you, got to believe in you. Man, so Kurt, but look, my last question that I like to ask all my guests. When it is all said and done and you are long gone from this earth, what is it that you want people to know about Kurt Farquhar?
That I was a kind and simple drummer from Chicago. And I came out here and I did my best. That's it.
I want to thank you, Kurt. Like I said, you really touched my soul. You really inspired me. And I needed to hear that night, at the HMMA where I was there, especially like coming from where I come from, like St. Louis, Missouri or whatever, and the ghetto, the hood and all that. I wasn't expected to be where I'm at now. God is continuously opening doors for me, and I feel blessed. And I feel He put me in that moment to hear you. So I was honored to be able to interview you. I was like, I pray that He allows me to interview him so I can thank him personally, because that really meant so much to me. And I told God, I spoke to God about this. I had this script that I'm working on. It's called The Loop. It's about the Mike Brown, situation here. And I was like, I'm going to have you work on it some way, somehow. Just remember I said it, I manifested it. I'm speaking
All right. I'm here for you.
It's going to happen.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So thank you, Kurt. You have anything coming up that you want to promote or let the people know how they can find
you? We got season 2 of The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. They dropping the whole season on February 1st on Disney Plus. And we're coming up for the 100th episode of The Neighborhood. That is just incredible. Woohoo! We're so excited about that. Yes. Can you say syndication? Yes.
Hey, look, Kurt is rich. Kurt loan me $1 million. I'm just playing. Unless you're gonna loan it to me. Nah, thank you, Kurt. I appreciate you. Remember, I'm gonna be there one day. I'm say, Kurt, what I tell you.
All right, now. I'll still be standing here waiting for you. God bless you.
God bless you. Have a wonderful day. I'll let you know when this article, everything drops, but I appreciate you.
All right. Appreciate
All
you
right.
too.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye now.